Those of her own blood envied her beauty and gentle soul. When they left her to die in the desert, they thought they had gotten rid of a rival. But there was something they didn't know. They weren't creating a victim. They were giving rise to a queen. This is the story of a love and justice born from the ashes of betrayal. In the heart of the savannah, 3 sisters were famous for their beauty. The eldest, Amara, was cunning and ambitious. The middle, Zola, arrogant and selfish. But the youngest, Liana, was known not just for her beauty, but for a heart kinder than all others. Liana had a bond with animals as if she could speak to them, and she could instinctively find the rarest of flowers. This innocence attracted the attention of even the tribe's bravest hunters. This situation had turned the seeds of jealousy, which had been growing in her sisters' hearts for years, into a poisonous vine. The final act of the intrigue began with the news that the son of the tribe's wealthiest leader was preparing to propose to Liana. For Amara and Zola, this was the final straw. Liana's happiness felt like their failure. One day, they tricked Liana, saying, "We are going to find the legendary moon orchid, which only queens can wear." They led her to the edge of the silent desert, a place the tribe feared, from which no one returned. In the middle of the desert, Amara accidentally stumbled, falling onto Liana and pushing her onto a sharp rock. Liana's ankle twisted in pain. She was unable to walk. "You're slowing us down," Zola said in a cold voice. "We'll go back and get help." But Liana saw the triumphant glint in her sister's eyes. They weren't coming back. They were abandoning her here, to the mercy of predatory animals and the ruthless sun. "Why?" Liana whispered, as tears streamed down her cheeks. Amara leaned over her and said, "Because you shine with a light you don't deserve, and some lights must be extinguished." As the 2 sisters walked away without a single look back, Liana was left alone in the desert, in the cold grip of betrayal. Miles away from where Liana was abandoned, the wise chief of the lion tribe, Jabari, was in mourning. A year ago, the beloved queen of the tribe had lost her life to an epidemic. Since that day, Jabari not only led his people, but also fought against the great emptiness in his heart. Although the elders of the tribe pressured him to remarry, Jabari knew that the woman who would take his wife's place had to possess not only beauty, but also a wise and strong spirit. On a spiritual quest he had undertaken alone, believing the spirits of his ancestors were guiding him, he rode his horse toward the silent desert. Hours later, he noticed a vulture circling. He curiously moved in that direction and found a young woman in the shadow of a rock, on the verge of collapsing from thirst and pain. Her ankle was swollen and bruised. Jabari was captivated by the innocence in the woman's face and the fragile yet unyielding spirit he saw when she opened her eyes. She was like a rare flower that had bloomed in the middle of the desert. He couldn't leave her to die. He carefully placed Liana on his horse and set off towards his own tribe. When Liana came to on a bed of soft hides in Jabari's large tent, she couldn't understand where she was. This imposing and wise man standing before her looked at her with compassion, but this compassion was not shared by the rest of the tribe. This unidentified, injured woman, whom the chief had brought from the cursed desert, instantly sparked a storm of gossip and suspicion in the tribe. In particular, the chief's cunning chief advisor, Fenuku, saw this situation as a threat to his own interests. Fenuku had planned to offer his own daughter as a wife to the chief, and the arrival of this stranger jeopardized his plans. Fenuku began to make sinister plans to get rid of Liana as soon as possible. Liana had been saved from one hell, only to fall unknowingly right into the middle of a far more dangerous nest of intrigue. Under Jabari's protection, Liana recovered quickly. However, the cold and distant attitude of the rest of the tribe wounded her spirit. Fenuku had already started spreading rumors that Liana was an evil spirit from the desert who would bring misfortune to the tribe. Liana had to break through this hostility. Although she had been scorned in her father's house, she had a talent she had learned from her mother. She was an incredible storyteller. One evening, as the children of the tribe were gathered around the fire, Liana approached them and began to tell them tales about their ancestors and the spirits of the savannah. stories they had never heard before. Her voice was so magical, her stories so vivid, that the children listened to her, holding their breath. Over time, not only the children, but also the women, and even the warriors began to attend Liana's story hours. Her wisdom and gentle spirit slowly began to win the hearts of the people. Chief Jabari watched this with admiration. The soul he had been searching for lived in the body of this wounded woman. However, this situation only fueled Fenuku's hatred. Liana's growing popularity was a threat to his and his daughter's future. Fenuku decided to make his final and most ruthless move. As the tribe's most sacred ritual, the first rain prayer, approached, he mixed a slow-acting poison, known only to him, into the sacred water jug to be used in the ceremony. The poison wouldn't kill instantly, but it would drag the drinker into a debilitating illness that would last for weeks, eventually leading to death. According to tradition, the honor of presenting this water to the chief belonged to the purest and most beloved woman of the tribe. And with her recent popularity, the elders were considering giving this task to Liana. Fenuku's plan was flawless. Liana would poison the chief she was beginning to love with her own hands and would then be executed as an assassin. It meant getting rid of both Liana and the chief's affection for her in a single move. The moment came for Liana to present the sacred jug to Chief Jabari in his honor, and a deep silence fell over the tribe's square. Fenuku and his daughter stood in the crowd, watching the events unfold with an expectant, sly expression on their faces. Liana, grasping the jug with both hands, walked slowly toward Jabari. However, with every step, a strange feeling grew inside her. Her instincts, that unique ability, whispered to her that the water inside the jug was sick. The spirit of the water was weeping. When she stood before Jabari, she hesitated for a moment. The people of the tribe perceived this hesitation as disrespect and began to murmur. Fenuku had found the exact opening he was looking for. "Do you see?" he whispered to those beside him. "The foreigner is not worthy to present the water blessed by our spirits to our chief." Liana ignored these whispers. She closed her eyes and focused only on the voice within. Then she did something no one expected. Instead of handing the jug to Jabari, she slowly knelt down and poured a small amount of the sacred water at the base of a small, withered bush beside her. For a few seconds, nothing happened. A triumphant smile was about to form on Fenuku's face. But then, the leaves of the bush began to tremble. Their color darkened, and they curled up as if burning from the inside, instantly withering into dust. A horrified silence fell over the square. The sacred water, which was supposed to give life, had taken it. Liana fixed her eyes directly on Fenuku. "The water," she said, her voice echoing throughout the square, "is poisoned." In that moment, Liana had not only saved the chief's life, but had also declared to everyone that there was a traitor hiding in the shadows of the tribe. When Jabari looked at Liana, his eyes no longer held just admiration, but unshakable trust. This woman could see the truths that he could not. The failure of the poisoning attempt had made Fenuku desperate and even more dangerous. He realized he could no longer destroy Liana, who had become a hero in the eyes of the tribe from within. Therefore, he decided to create an enemy from the outside. He secretly sent a messenger to the Gazelle tribe, where Liana had come from. The messenger's task was to find Liana's sisters, Amara and Zola. Fenuku's message was cunning. "Your sister Liana is being held captive in the Lion tribe. Chief Jabari has used dark magic to make her his wife, but I know a weak point in the tribe. If you come with a small group of warriors, I can help you rescue her." When Amara and Zola heard that Liana was alive and, moreover, had become the favorite of a chief, they were filled with jealousy and rage. They were in a difficult position in their own tribe because of the lies they had told about Liana's disappearance. Bringing her back was the perfect opportunity to both cover up their own crimes and bring her back under their control. Taking their most trusted warriors with them, they set off towards the Lion tribe, following the secret path described by Fenuku. However, there was something Fenuku didn't know. Liana's ability was no longer limited to just sensing plants and water. She had sensed her sister's approach, their familiar dark and ambitious energy, like a premonition. She knew they were not coming in peace. She immediately explained the situation to Jabari. "My sisters are coming," she said, "but not to save me, to destroy me. And they are not alone. Someone from within the tribe is helping them." Jabari believed every word Liana said. Together, they prepared a counterplan. They would turn that weak spot described by Fenuku into a deadly trap. This time, her sister's betrayal would be their end. Liana was refusing to be a victim anymore. She was now the hunter. When Amara and Zola, along with their warriors, infiltrated the valley in the dark of night, they thought everything was going according to plan. The area was quiet, and there were no guards in sight. But just as they reached the center of the trap, torches were suddenly lit, and they saw that they were surrounded by Jabari's most elite warriors. They had nowhere to run. At that moment, two figures appeared from a rock above, Chief Jabari and standing tall beside him, Liana. "Sisters," Liana said, her voice holding neither pain nor anger, only an icy disappointment. "You came back to finish me, didn't you?" Amara stammered in shock. We came to save you." Just then, Jabari's warriors also captured Fenuku, who was planning to help them, and brought him forward. The entire plan, the whole web of betrayal, was laid bare for everyone to see. "You will decide their punishment, Liana," Jabari said. "They are of your blood." Liana looked at her sisters and Fenuku for a long time. Then she made her decision. "Fenuku," she said, "you craved power. Your punishment will be to live as the most powerless person in this tribe for the rest of your life, to do the most menial tasks, and to look into the faces of the people you betrayed every day." Then she turned to her sisters. "And you prided yourselves on your beauty and status. I will send you back to your tribe, but you will confess in front of everyone how you left me to die and how you have now betrayed another tribe. Your punishment will not be by the sword, but to live with shame." This wise justice sealed Liana's place in the tribe as a queen. That night, Jabari brought her before the sacred fire in front of his people. "You have shown us," he said, "that true strength lies not in the body but in the soul. And your soul has long earned the right to be the new queen of this tribe." Years later, under the joint leadership of Liana and Jabari, the tribe had entered an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity. One day, two weary and aged women appeared on the horizon. It was Amara and Zola, who had spent years living in shame. They had come to beg for forgiveness. Liana, now with the wisdom of a queen and the mercy of a sister, accepted them, because in the desert, where her sisters had abandoned her, she had learned not only about a husband and a kingdom, but also that forgiveness is the greatest strength of all.